Help you find it.
That's a bad news. I just don't have the heart to believe.
Nose again. But that's making sense.
Morning.
Good 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 morning, everyone.
It is such a fabulous day today. I hope everyone has that same feeling. It is a beautiful fall day out there. It is just an awesome day. Isn't it, Mr. Fuji?
It is indeed.
We know we have look at the smile on Denny's face.
Hey.
Denny is just like, look at him. He's glowing. He's just glowing. Look at him. Let's just give it a second because we know there's a lot of people that need to join for today's meeting.
I love it when the Yankees get beat.
That is not funny.
That is hilarious. Love it. Makes my day.
Joe, you're fired.
All right, I think Mike is just putting together some last minute production numbers. Mr. Fuji, sir, I have multiple challenges for you today. So Today, we're gonna talk a little bit about change, okay? So we gotta get change in there.
Okay.
We have just a gorgeous, gorgeous fall day out there today, a little crisp,
Okay.
and we have the fate of our country in the hand of everyone who has not voted already and needs to be encouraged to go out there and vote tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So, man, I just threw a lot out at you, and I see the wheels spinning, but I know you can hit all three of those things.
All right. Let us
So,
try.
let's go.
All right, let's pray. Loving God, on this beautiful autumn day, we acknowledge that you are the creator of all that we enjoy, Lord. It is your gift. Nature is your tapestry, Lord. And just as the seasons change, there's change that comes into each one of our lives as well. At times we resist that, but change is inevitable. But that's why we look to you, who are unchanging, and your love and compassion for us. So if we keep our eyes focused on you, even in the midst of change, Lord, we can step forward. And we need to step forward and vote, Lord. That is our civil duty. That's what we do in exercising the democracy, Lord. And in this time, this at times volatile election season, it's good to remember that there's far more that unites us than divides us, and no more than when we bow our heads in prayer to you. For you are the God who created each one of us in your image, in whose name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Good job, man.
Thank
You
you.
got them all. Thank you. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for everyone who is here, who's not normally here in the sales meeting. The sound okay? We thought it was real important with some of the shakeup that we've had last week to make sure that we got everybody on a call and kind of talk through some of the things that are happening. We know that with AEP, in this business in general, there's always change, obviously. And we hate it when, whether it's CMS or the carriers start throwing change at us when we're in the middle of the game here. But that is what's happening a little bit right now. So we wanted to kind of go through everything that's happening and the change and make it so that it is as seamless as possible in what we're doing for AEP. Do we have a slide? I know Mike is working on getting some production numbers right now. Do you have any other slides that you need to put up there?
Yeah, that he was gonna go over.
If it's the box stuff, we're gonna wait on that.
Right. Integrity technology, training.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for Mike on that stuff too. Okay, all right, let me just kind of jump right in. So last week, as some of you may have known, a bunch of carriers happened on Thursday, actually. A bunch of carriers came in and said, hold on, we need to make some changes right now to the products that we already have out there that you are already marketing and selling. And one of the biggest changes initially that came to us from Anthem, and it happened in the state of Connecticut. And one of the first phone calls we made was to Lisa Dale. Is Lisa on? Can't see. I still call her Lisa Daly, even though her name's Lisa Arconti. Okay, well, so Lisa's in Connecticut, and we called Lisa and said, hey, Lisa, just want to give you a heads up that there's some changes happening in the state of Connecticut. And I had left her a message. And she called me back, and her first response to me was,
Morning.
I am so happy.
Hi, baby.
Hi,
Good to see you, baby.
good to see you too.
I know.
So Lisa's first, Lisa, what? You got to stop and acknowledge that. We can't just all ignore it, right? The first response Lisa said was, not, oh, this sucks. Oh no, what am I going to do? It was, thank goodness I just read Who Moved My Cheese Again last week. That was her first response.
That's awesome.
That was such a good response. So
That's fantastic.
initially, as soon as I heard it, she totally changed my head. She totally made me
That's
say,
the one thing you say to Anthony, and absolutely the thing to say to Anthony is, who moved my cheese? And
who moved my cheese? Because let's face it, shit happens. What are you gonna do? We can all sit around and we can complain about it, we could whine about it, or we could say, okay, how do we embrace this and how do we make this better for all of us? Now, what is the change that I'm talking about? So we sent an email out on Friday to kind of give you an idea of hold off on writing certain products. So this is what happened on Thursday. We received a phone call from Anthem explaining to us that AEP is going way too good for them. Now, this is the general thing that we're hearing from everybody in the industry, is that AEP is just going too well. Well, these carriers all knew that there was going to be a lot of disruption this AEP. What they didn't know is that they were going to get way more business than they expected to get. So when the plan, when a carrier puts a plan together, they have certain expectations of how many members they can handle as far as enrollment goes. And there's a bunch of algorithms and crap that we'll never know and understand exactly how it works. They need to have X amount of dollars in reserves to be able to handle X amount of business. They need to have X amount of customer service, so on and so forth. If they were to take on too much business, number one, their financials go down the tubes. Number two, the customer service goes down the tubes. And then the next thing that goes down the tubes is their star ratings. If their star ratings go down and go down too low, the next thing that happens is government comes in and SARs the plan and takes over it. So if they put too much business on, there's a good chance that that business is going to end up getting canceled by the government. We would have expected that this would happen with a plan or two here or there. But when we get a call from Anthem and literally 2 hours later, Aetna comes in and says, we need to pull back on certain plans. And Friday, Wellcar comes in and says, we need to pull back on certain plans. And over the weekend, Cigna comes in and says, we need to pull back on certain plans. And as of literally 15 minutes ago, United has pulled back on plans. And that's because all these companies got too much business. So there's two definitions when I say pull back on plans. There's suppressed plans and there's making the plans non-commissionable. They can't say, we're not taking any new members in this plan. That's illegal. That's against their contract with the government. If they were to say, we're not taking any new members in the plan, that would be like some sort of discrimination of some sort or some sort of other nonsense, but they're not allowed to do that. So what they've done is they've either suppressed the plan or made it non-commissionable. Non-commissionable means there's no reason in the world for us to write the plan. Because if we write the plan, nobody's getting paid on the plan.
those are the ones that Medicare Center has already removed as of October 1st, well, October 15th. If they knew that they were non-commissionable, they were already not in Medicare Center. They already weren't options. They are still there right as of right now for the ones that are non-commissionable as of Thursday, ones that were just changed. So,
And they're slowly coming down and coming off of it. That's the non-commissionable ones. There is no reason at all for you to ever write a product that is non-commissionable. It is really important that if you are doing some sort of enrollment electronically, that you double check what we're about to go over to make sure that it is commissionable. Now, over time, this stuff is going to come off all these electronic platforms, but there's so many products. We're literally talking about here, guys, over 200 products around the country that are being yanked. So 200 plans. So it could be a plan specifically in Essex County, New Jersey. That specific plan doesn't mean it's being pulled from Bergen County, New Jersey. So it's really, really important that you check this list that we're going to distribute, which is updated since what we sent on Friday, to see if it's non-commissionable. That's category number one. Category number two is suppressing a plan. What that means is they're still going to pay commission on it, but they need to pull back on their marketing. They need to make it that they're not putting that plan out there to try to get a lot of enrollments. The way all these carriers have suppressed these plans is by removing them from the digital platforms. So if you were to go in and see someone face to face and take a paper application on these suppressed plans, that's okay. You will get paid on that piece of business, but you cannot do it electronically. Now, those plans that are suppressed are already pulled down. So if you were able to actually do an enrollment on a plan on a digital platform, that's okay. You're going to get paid. Now, let's clarify, everything that we're talking about right now has an effective date associated with it. Anything that you've done up until now, you're getting paid on. So I know that's probably a question that's going through everyone's head. What about everything I've done so far? You're getting paid on it. It's going forward that we have to be careful in the plans that we are writing. So before I even hit the plans, because I do want to take a little time to go through the plans. Does anybody have any questions in understanding this, the suppression, the non-commissionable, please throw them out there. Trust us, we had all the questions you're probably thinking of. So there's no such thing as a dumb question here on this. So let me first open it up there.
Will
Anthony, this is
Infinity
Luke.
platform have it updated already?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Will the Integrity platform Medicare Central have those plans flagged already?
So yes and no. So apparently it's happening as we speak. Apparently a bunch of the non-commissionable plans were already pulled off. The suppressed plans, it's basically when it gets pulled off, it gets pulled off. If it's still there, then you're fine. But on the non-commissionable plans, you gotta double check it because we don't want to sit here and say and put all of our faith into one IT programmer who may have missed a number and when they're sitting there programming it right now. Eventually, yes, this will all be updated and it'll be noted non-commissionable or it won't be there. But right now, we want you to double check these plans. And we're going to give you a list of those plans. Pete,
So Luke,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's Heather. I was just gonna, so any electronic enrollment that I've done through a carrier site, if it was there and it allowed me to do it, I'm getting
You're-
paid on it.
You're absolutely fine.
Perfect.
But Heather,
Something personal.
if it's
Don't matter.
if it's a plan since November 1st, since Friday, that you've done electronically, that's non-commissionable, then there's a challenge there, which is why we sent that list out. Now, the carrier may have pulled it, but they may not have either. All right, go ahead, Luke. What were you going to say?
Hey guys, thanks for the updates. So I had some mailed applications out that people had requested, 8 of them to be precise. I was able to call and enroll 4 of them digitally before November 1st, which is good. On Halloween night, I did those. But
Yep.
4 are still waiting to come back in the mail for me, which would be non-commissionable at this time. What's a good messaging that I could catch them before they mail those apps back to me and enroll them in a different plan? Like, is there a good messaging?
I think it's a phone call to them. I think the phone call to them says that there's been oh, I see what you're saying, because you can't call them and say, I can't get a commission on this anymore, so don't submit it. I think it would be, I'm looking at some other plans here for you since we spoke, and a couple of other plans came to my attention. And go about it via conversation that way.
I like that. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I like that messaging. I think that's perfect.
Okay.
your microphone's on.
Oh,
It's off though, so it's coming from that one, just so you know. If they can hear, I mean, it doesn't even out. The battery's dead, so that's what it's dying. It'll probably turn off again. Anyway, sorry, guys.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Let's go for it. It's on
I
right
need
now,
to
so.
control the computer, so we're going to, and if you got on the call late, we've actually already talked about New York and Florida plans, and we won't repeat it, so there's nothing we could do to help you. Andy, we're kidding. We didn't hit the actual plans yet, and we're gonna hit the plans in a second. Any other questions as far as the procedure itself of understanding it?
Sorry, I had a question.
Go for it.
I was in the emails I was reading from Aetna, or maybe it was Anthem, they mentioned that is that going to just be for the entirety of next year, or is there an opportunity that these will become recommissionable after a point?
So Pete, that's a great question. And the answer is we don't know, and we will never know. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theory person, not a huge conspiracy theory person. The bottom line is, I personally, and I am not speaking from any sort of intelligence here, okay? I personally think the carriers expected this. The fact that they all came out within a 24 to 48-hour period maximum on this, I think the carriers had expected this. Here, just use this one. Expected this, knew that this was going to happen, and anticipated it. Now, whether it's going to change after January 1st or not, we don't know. We
But
don't
we
know.
can most likely plan that it will almost certainly extend through OEP then, right?
I would think so.
Okay.
I would. So we just don't know.
So what about if you written a written app on these plans, let's say prior to November 1st. All right, so you're gonna get the commission. What about the residual?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
So
They're
you're gonna
saying
get the residual too. Okay.
yes, they're saying that this is not going to affect renewals at all. It's not going to affect the first year commission at all. It's just anything that was received as of November 1st for all carriers, with the exception of Cigna, which is anything that was received prior to today, November 4th. Everything else was November 1st for the other carriers. It's just, it won't get paid. So we shouldn't be in a situation where anybody's lost any money at all. I think we got all the notifications out in time. It was, for Anthem and Aetna, we found out in the early afternoon and was told by midnight that night it was done. And basically they said, sorry for the short notice. It was.
And the only reason we found out is because of a personal relationship that the three of us have with the one rep. It was not like a personal phone call from Anthem. It was just because we have a friend at Anthem that kind of shared it with us.
Yeah, and Aetna, we started finding out at the same time you guys were finding out. Some of you got emails directly from Aetna, and we were finding out at the same time.
I'm sorry if you already told us this, but do you know why this is happening this year?
Well, this is not a new scenario. We kind of went into this already, but this is not new. Like, we've been here before. We've been through non-commissionable plans before. This is part of this business. And the bottom line is, in short, these changes have to occur in order for the plans not to deteriorate and for the carriers not to shut down. So these changes, they had too much business come their way. And in order to service the clients that they have, they needed to back down and not hurt their star ratings. That's the short story of it. But we've been here before, guys, and that's the thing that I think is really important. Anthony started with Who Moved My Cheese, and the idea that I see Lisa is on now. That Lisa reminded him of Who Moved My Cheese. And we've been here before. This is not the first time we've dealt with this, and it's not the last thing that's going to surprise us in this business, especially this AEP. I'm sure there's something else coming.
Yeah, and look, guys, in the past, and like Mike said, we've been here before where there's been change thrown. Maybe it wasn't this exact change, but there's always change being thrown our way. We're prepared. That's why we have 41 or 42 carriers. We're prepared that, okay, this product in this region is getting pulled. Therefore, now we need to go over to this product. That's all that's going to be. And that's why, again, thanks for going back to go move my cheese, because, okay, we're going to have to pivot a little bit. You know, we're going to have to pivot from this product over to this product. It's kind of, it's a pain in the ass. That's what it is. It's not going to end our AP. It's not going to hurt our AP. AP is going fantastic. But we need to make some changes and we need to pivot in order to make sure that you go forward. Now, if you sit there, I'm not going to go completely into who moved my cheese, but if you sit there right now at the end of this call and talk about how you're getting screwed and how this isn't fair and yada, 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 and go into it, and you have your pity session about it, go have your pity session, but please don't make it last more than 4.5 minutes, because it doesn't have to. There's plenty of other products out there. We have the products. There's plenty of other opportunity. And I have to tell you, more than half of you on this call, it's probably not going to affect you even a little bit. Even a little bit. So it's probably a good time to go into what these plans are and what the different areas are that it affects you. And we're not telling you this is the final list. Like I said 20 minutes ago, I heard information that, to be honest, there's probably only 2 people on this call that are really going to be pissed off about it. And it's Maria and Andy. They're probably the only 2 people that they're going to care about this. But more news is going to keep coming in. And then, Pete, like you asked, who knows? Maybe news comes in that in 3 weeks that Cigna says that specific plan, that specific area, we're okay where we need to be, and we'll start paying commission again on that plan. It might happen. It might happen. We just need to be on our toes. We don't need to be writing business that we find out in February, but we have a list of it and we go back and say to the carrier, why didn't you pay us? And they say, oh, that's a non-commissionable product. We don't need that to happen, which is why we created such an urgency of everyone to be on this call today. I'm going to do a share screen and show you. We put together,
This will be shared, just so everyone knows, so you don't have to ask. This will be shared.
well,
After
let's
it's
go
probably
through it.
better. That's usually tough. You don't get it from the top, you have to get it from that top corner. Yeah, there you go.
All right, so right now this is sorted by state, okay? Remember what I said. Everything that is Cigna is effective today, and everything else, which is Anthem, Aetna, and WellCare, was effective on Friday. Now, I do have to tell you that WellCare has the lowest impact of anything because they're suppressing their plans. They're not making them non-commissionable. And it's only in specific states, or very few states. But let's start here. If you're doing business in Alabama, to give you an idea how to read this chart, and again, Eric is gonna give you a link so that you could, play with this yourself, filter it yourself. If you're doing business in Alabama, it is specifically Cigna that matters there. The plan is suppressed. Again, not non-commissionable. It is suppressed, which means it won't be on digital platforms. In Arkansas, it is only Cigna that matters. In Arizona, it's only Cigna that matters. All right, and it's all the PPO plans. In California, there was a bit of a shakeup in California. You got Aetna specific to these counties. You have Anthem, all areas for that PPO, and you have WellCare's HMO plan in California. Colorado just matters for Cigna. Connecticut, unfortunately, Connecticut's a big hit, guys. Connecticut is Aetna, it's PPO, and actually, I think this is all the counties. Anthem, they basically made every product that they have in the state of Connecticut non-commissionable for Anthem. So Anthem is basically done in the state of Connecticut, guys. And Cigna pulled their PPO and made it non-commissionable, not suppressed, but non-commissionable. DC, I don't think we've written an app in DC. But obviously they got hit a little bit. That's why there's 2 carriers. Delaware pulled, Cigna suppressed their PPO product. That should be good for us because of WellCare being there. So, WellCare is not affected there in Delaware. In Florida, it is only Aetna in Florida that we are seeing disruption here. It is specific to these counties and it is non-commissionable. Georgia had quite a shakeup, guys. Now, one of the things that we noticed is that the areas that we talked about as the hot marketplaces were the areas that seemed to get hit the most. And that's because they truly were the hot marketplaces where everybody went into it and went nuts with these enrollments. So Anthem pulled all of these products. We're talking D-SNPs, we're talking their kidney care plan, we're talking a bunch of products that they pulled there. And Cigna pulled all their PPO product there. So here is the names of the plans again. And here is the contract number. The contract number is very important. I don't want you to ever look at, oh, well, they pulled, Cigna pulled their PPO in Georgia. Well, Cigna might have another PPO in Georgia. You got to make sure that you look at what the contract number actually is. Iowa, Anthem pulled, non-commissionable. Illinois, Cigna made a bunch suppressed. Anthem made them, oh, no, that's it in Illinois. It's just Cigna. Indiana, Anthem got hurt there. In Kansas, it's Cigna. Kentucky is Anthem and Cigna making the changes. WellCare is not making a change in Kentucky. Now, Cigna made them suppressed, Anthem made them non-commissionable. Anthem didn't suppress anything. Anthem made everything non-commissionable for these products in these states. Louisiana, that was WellCare. They just did too well there, and it's their PPO product in Louisiana. In Maryland, you got Aetna, and specific to these counties. In Maine, Anthem is pulling that PPO product. Missouri, you got Cigna. Mississippi is Cigna. North Carolina is Cigna. New Hampshire, this one hurts a little bit. New Hampshire is specific to Anthem. They are pulling their PPO product. They are non-commissionable. New Jersey got their HMO plan with Anthem pulled, not their D-SNP plan. Very, very important, because at the end of the day, it's really what Anthem had in New Jersey was their D-SNP plan. So it is not their D-SNP plan that is affected in New Jersey. Also in New Jersey, Cigna, of which we're really weren't doing much with Cigna in New Jersey, but it's their PPO product. New York hurts, guys. New York, you got Aetna making them non-commissionable, not suppressed. All of these products. You got PPO in there, you got a D-SNP, but look at the counties, all right? It does not mean that this HMO D-SNP is being pulled everywhere. With that said, this number 3312 might only be specific to these counties. There are some that when you look at the counties, that's not all the counties that this plan is available in. So you got to make sure you look at the county list when you look at it. Also in New York, Anthem pulled that PPO product. Also in New York, Cigna pulled their PPO product, non-commissionable. WellCare, their give back PPO plan is suppressed, which means it has to be done via it has to be done via paper application, if anything. Maria, Andy, possibly Lozandro, I need you to kind of hold on to your seat a little bit when I say this. We were just told before we got on this call, we are not allowed to put this in writing is what we were told. I am imagining by the end of the day, we will see something in writing, but United Healthcare is pulling their regional PPO plan in New York, or is suppressing it, is what we were told. Is pulling their regional PPO plan and their AARP from UHC PPO plan. That is H3418. There's also sub numbers. It looks like everything but the sub number that has 2 at the end of it is pulled. As soon as we get notification on that, we will tell you. I will tell you that United has the tendency of telling you after the fact. United does not care about screwing agents over. So I would say, do not write the United PPO plan, even though we're only verbally telling you what we have been told verbally. I would be very, very iffy on writing the PPO plan from United right now in the state of New York.
Anthony, what about the D-SNP in New York for United? Any word on that?
It is only the regional PPO plans.
Okay.
The one regional PPO plan, I can even give you the numbers, guys. I just can't verbally put this in writing. It is R5342-05. That is the regional PPO in New York. And then the AARP plan is H as in Harry 3418-1, 3418-4, 3418-7, 3418-8, 3418-9, 3418-10. Now, more than likely, those dashes, the numbers after the dash, has to do with the counties that it's in. So it's important that you look at those numbers. But what we're being told is these are the only, it's what we're being told. Doesn't mean that's what it is. Because again, guys, they haven't put, this is like hot off the press news. We're being told these are the only products United is pulling around the entire country. But we will see. Or rather, I'm saying pulling, but they're suppressing them, which means they can only. So Maria, for example, you sitting in a Walmart, if it is suppressed, you're okay to write it on a paper app. Let me move over to Ohio. Ohio is affected by Anthem and Cigna, PPO and HMO. Again, it's just PPO here. It's non-commissionable with Anthem, but it is suppressed with Cigna. So Helena, again, if it's suppressed, that would mean if you're sitting in a Walmart, you're able to take the application. Very interesting. Oregon and Washington, states that WellCare was saying we are going to kill it in. They did just that. They had so much enrollment that in the first 2 weeks, at least specific to the state of Washington, in the first 2 weeks of AEP, they wrote more than they anticipated for all of AEP. So they have suppressed these 2 products in Oregon. Pennsylvania, is it Oregon or Oregon?
Oregon.
Oregon, yeah. It's like tiny and teeny. Yeah. Pennsylvania. Tomato. You got Cigna. In Pennsylvania, South Carolina is Cigna. Tennessee, you got Anthem and Cigna making changes. Again, anything Anthem's non-commissionable, Cigna, some are non-commissionable, some are suppressed. Texas got shooken up a little bit. You got Aetna, Anthem, Cigna, all making changes there. Where is what? Oh, okay. Utah, you got Aetna and Cigna. Virginia, you got Aetna and Anthem and Cigna. Washington, here's what I was talking about. You got Aetna, Cigna, and WellCare, all pulling product in the state of Washington. And then in Wisconsin, you got Anthem. So, Eric, talk to me about this link.
Send it right on the group chat.
Okay, in the group chat, Eric it's gonna be to a Google sheet, guys. We put this together ourselves from the gazillion different things that we received. Of course, they did not do this very easy. Cigna, for example, sent out 3 different lists. They didn't put it all together. So we put it all together into one place. The question on the info about the UHC non-commissioned plans, Pete, we don't have that answer. We actually got this information over the phone. Literally, it was at like 11:15. We got this information over the phone and was told we cannot put this in writing. But we know from the inside, this is what's happening, which is the reason why we're not that's why we didn't in the chat just type out those numbers I read to you, because we can't. So we don't know. Do not start going on message boards or anything like that with this information about United, guys. We're sharing this with you firsthand. Let's go back. As far as PDPs being affected, yeah, they're not. Because there's really no commission on PDPs anyway. So nothing to worry about as far as prior to November 1st. Okay, and the Google Drive's there. Okay, questions. Jennifer Sawyer.
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm very illiterate. How do you even do a paper app? Like, do you have to go to the carrier website? I'm sorry, I do apologize.
So this is really funny. You know, when we first heard, so Anthem came out with something a couple weeks ago that said their PPO plans, certain PPO plans can only be done via paper and then faxed in, right? So Dan's response to that was, yeah, how do you find that paper app? You have to go like 16 pages deep into a website because they try to hide it, even though they say it's not marketable. Ideally speaking, you're going to find a paper app in the carrier's port. All right, you're going to be able to print out the paper app from the carrier port. I think maybe we need to dig in per carrier on how to
Get the apps.
Actually get the apps.
Your managers send in a lot of paper apps. So I'm just saying.
Actually, that is a really good point. That is a really good point because Seth, Fred, these
guys know what they're doing when it comes to paper apps.
They know what they're doing with the paper apps.
I'm looking at this right now, and my personal response to this is, like, if you were to take this sheet and you filter out non-commissionable, that is number one priority, 100%. You better not write one of those apps. If it's suppressed, talk to your manager.
Now, look, ideally speaking, guys, you have someone on the phone. You want to be able to take that application right then and there. You want to try to work with the plans that are on Medicare Center or whatever.
And and the other thing is, WellCare becomes even more of an option now, which makes
100%
fixes so many of the problems that we have out there right now with regard to not writing enough WellCare, right?
Yeah.
And limiting the ability for us to keep investing like crazy. So I would definitely feel better about WellCare right now because it has not been affected the same way across the board.
So Helena, you're talking about the non-commissionable plans from Humana that came out earlier. So the challenge with that is you're talking about us scrubbing through every contract because every plan, every carrier has certain plans that are non-commissionable, but they were already, our understanding is they were already removed from all the digital platforms. And if I'm wrong on that, please tell me.
I think they're there, but they say non-commissionable, but they're still showing on all the platforms.
So, but if it says non-commissionable, I think we're okay with that for right now. The biggest concern is that there's plans out there right now that don't say non-commissionable and they are non-commissionable.
Right.
That's what the biggest concern. As far as adding every non-commissionable plan to this one sheet, it might be a huge task. We'll take a look at it to see how big of a job we're talking about there. But there might be some needles in the haystack there.
Rebecca, they may remove those downloadable apps from Plan Enroll and Medicare app because of the whole purpose of trying to make sure that they're not marketable. So that may be an option, but it may not be.
Yeah, which means it's probably a good idea for you to download whatever the heck. Maybe we'll take that job on here.
Try to grab.
Maybe we will try to grab as many paper apps as we possibly can. Now we are not. Now wait, let me clarify something, guys. We are not going to become a print shop. We are not going to sit here and start printing out apps and overnighting them to you and so on and so forth. That you need to take on your own. If you want applications in specific areas, then you either need to print them out, or if you have a relationship with that local person for that specific carrier, see if you can get your hands on some that way. you gotta. The one year we actually
Yeah, I
said,
was literally
we
just
said to
thinking
the
that.
carriers, if you send us applications, we're throwing them in the garbage and not even opening the box. Is
The
what
one
we
year
told
that-
them. The 1 year that we did that.
Look, at the end of the day, that part's, WellCare becomes more of an option. Humana is not even on this list, which Humana has not, if you remember last year, Humana crushed it. They surpassed everybody's expectations. They came out the gate and just destroyed everything last year. This year, they're not even writing a lot of business, so
I
they're
mean,
not showing up.
they
on this
actually
list. They
told
probably
Integrity,
won't.
actually
Yeah.
told Integrity, everything's good.
Yeah.
Which means our production's down is what that actually means.
Yeah, actually, Eric, if you go to the slides that are in that PowerPoint presentation right now and share, you can actually see some of the highlights again in these different carriers that we were shared with last week. So,
I mean, we don't, we probably don't need to.
okay, never mind.
Yeah, because I know you got a bunch of stuff we gotta hit.
Okay.
As well. So, questions, any other questions on this?
So Anthony, you're saying that Connecticut United Healthcare hasn't pulled anything yet?
Correct.
Okay. Here's my cheese. Thank you.
So technically, Lisa,
Mhm.
United Healthcare hasn't pulled anything, period.
Right. But you don't
we
have
know-
anything.
We
Okay.
know it's coming in New York.
Yep,
We know,
okay.
we know it's coming in New York.
Well, I have a couple of appointments this afternoon, so I want to, I'll get them to sign today.
Yep.
I held off on a couple of anthems and that did not go well, but I'm just telling them that if they want it, they have to call Anthem themselves and I'm not helping them. And that they're gonna have to deal with them anytime they have a question, that I'm not gonna be their agent, and they're pretty much staying wherever I tell them to go, which is working out okay.
Okay. Okay.
Let's talk about that for a second too. One of the thoughts I had is for your current clients that have these plans, I think there's a sense of loyalty that they should have to you for putting them into a plan that somebody else might not be able to put them into now. And I think you have to be careful how you communicate that so that you're not getting into trouble. But I think it's also a conversation to have with people that, hey, listen, I got you into the best plan, and you might not even actually be able to go into that plan right now, depending on who you speak to. Because the fact is, if they're talking to like an eHealth, or if they call one of these phone numbers on the commercials and they're only talking to a teledigital company, they're not going to be able to enroll in any of these plans now because they're not going to show up at all. They're definitely not sending a paper app to them.
Right.
So I think I would try to solidify my block a little bit in talking with them over the next couple of weeks to make sure that they know you're the one that got them into this plan. And if they call any of these commercials, they may not be able to get back into that plan again.
And we also want to make sure that everybody does not misunderstand. If you have someone in the plan already, you do not need to go out and replace it. You're getting your renewals. I know we said it already, but it's important that everyone doesn't start working their block of business, replacing it. You're getting paid on it. It's just new business. Any other questions on this?
Just a side point, Anthony. I want to say this is really the kind of support that agents will really appreciate from Diversified to make it easy and organize and have that Excel sheet that they can look at, and it's very helpful and time consuming, especially at this time of the year. So thank you, guys.
Great, thank you. Glad you found that helpful. Awesome. Okay, guys, if there's no other questions there, I think.
Let's hit the production real fast then.
Okay.
We didn't get there yet, but
For it.
well, we could, let's talk about leads. We'll close on production. Many of you last Wednesday came onto the Bach Media platform and started selling through the Bach Media. Want to find out what thoughts you had, what experiences you had over the weekend. We had a bunch of sales over the weekend that came in that we would not have had because people were able to just receive some inbound transfers directly to them. So want to hear from anybody that might be having a challenge with some of these leads. Maybe they're doing well with them. Maybe they learned something as they were going through it and said, hey, you know what, if other people knew how to handle this part, I did better with it. just kind of open it up to everybody out there. And if you want, I could call on you, but I'd prefer to hear from you directly.
So are we just waiting for Jenna to speak up? Are we gonna call on her?
Anybody, like,
I will say thank you so much for the opportunity and wondering if on Sundays they're open, because I logged in yesterday and I barely just got one back lead. So I
yeah,
was
so
wondering,
I saw you had two and I thought it was two sales. Maybe I missed that. I'm
no,
sorry.
unfortunately, I didn't get any yesterday. I
Okay.
tried.
Yeah, so yesterday, they definitely market when we tell them to market. So what'll happen is they'll go start blanketing. The problem is if no one's gonna pick up that call, then that money is being just thrown away. So every call that we get paid, we pay for every call that comes in. So if nobody picks up that call, we're just throwing that money away. So it doesn't get as big, and that's why we kind of have need a heads up if you are going to go to work, and then we'll try to back you up from that side of it. Maybe I just misread the report. I apologize, Maria, but we're consistently getting between 200 to 300 calls a day at this point in the platform that we're actually connecting with, and generally that equates to between 500 to 600 calls that have come inbound that we weren't. So those others just weren't being grabbed. They're just falling on the ground because we didn't use them. So the more people in there, the better off that we are, and the more people available to them, the better we're going to do.
So forgive my ignorance on this.
Yeah.
okay? So are you telling me that we had about 300 people call in because they're interested in speaking to somebody about their Medicare, but we didn't answer the phone because agents weren't on the phone to answer it?
Correct.
All right, I want everyone to just stop and just think about that.
A day.
A day.
A day.
A day, okay. So I just want everyone to stop and think about that for 1 second. So we had, I think I said it. What I was asking is, we had 300 phone calls a day come in of people that wanted to speak to us. Not we didn't call them. They called us. They dialed a phone number, called us,
Yes. Well, they didn't dial. They probably just clicked the number.
but we were too busy to answer the phone.
Correct. 45% of the calls we picked up, the rest of them we missed over the last, since Wednesday, which is better than we were doing. So that's a good thing. You should feel better about that part.
So I got another question then. I got a lot of questions, but is everybody on this call, have you written too much business? Is it that there's a line of people for you that you're enrolling that there's just no time to do more enrollments? I'm trying to understand. The number 300 calls per day are coming in that we're not answering the phone. Are we out of our freaking minds?
So I will clarify one part. If a person's on the phone, so there's times during the day where all of our BOC people that are on BOC are on a call with somebody. And so maybe a call comes in and it can't be passed because they're all busy on another call. But we could take more BOC people, so then we could fix that problem.
All right, I gotta ask whether you do it in the chat or whether you do it through raising your hand. Who wants to write more business during AEP this year? Go ahead and Andrew does. We know that. Scott Chapman does. Michelle does.
All right, we got responses. That
Okay.
We're not talking
Tanisha does. Always. I do. I do.
All right, so yes,
Yes.
people are out
Okay.
there.
So there's more than 5 people who want to write more business. Absolutely.
Yeah. We just need you to go green.
What am I missing here?
So we just need you to go green, be available, and then those calls will be able to be, when they ping us and they call over, we'll be able to pass them to you. So more people available, more people going green, the more that opportunity happens. We did, and we expected this, see our closing rate go down on those calls that were coming in because many of you were new to the bot calls, trying to figure it all out. That's why I was asking and starting with the question of what were some of the challenges that you may have experienced when you did receive a bot call? Because frankly, Megan is in the back saying, I don't want it more people going on green because if they do, they're going to screw up how well we were doing on Bach because they're not selling. And my point and my opinion on that is it's a learning curve. We're going to go through an experience of kind of learning more about it before we sell all of them. Some of you have 100% closing rate on Bach leads already, 100%. And some of you have 100 calls and 0 sales. So it's like it's a different, it's both sides of it.
We could fix that though. If someone's
Yeah.
taking 100 calls, they're working.
Yeah, that's the different, yeah. I mean, that's an expensive.
Mike, I have a question.
Did you say
Mike.
3 calls or 300 calls
300 calls
a day?
a day. are
That we're not
received,
answering.
Not receiving, yes.
Mike, I have a question for you. The system, the Bach calls that are coming in right now, the system that we have that guides them through, and I apologize, I can't remember the name of it right now, where they're guided through the call. Is that being used on those calls, or can that be used on those calls as well?
Yes, it's being used. Oh, it's not. It can, yeah. Actually, that's why, I'm sorry, my bad. I misunderstood. Mary's in the back today so that she can set that up for everybody to be able to help with the tutoring process of Cresta. So that when somebody
Cresta,
says,
that's
oh,
the
I got to give back. I'm only calling about my give back. The script is there. We've given the script out to everybody. And the second that you're using the script, we're hearing the calls and hearing the improvement being made. By not being afraid that the person says, oh, I just want my Part B give back, or I just want the $1,040 back. That's all I'm calling about. Being able to improve that part of it, we've done better with. And you can hear people doing it. Maria is fantastic with it. Steve is, Pete, Jack, like those guys, they just handle it really well. I'm sorry? Jenna. Yeah, you can hear in the call that they're handling it really, really well. And the people that are really in this business, like a Seth took 2 calls, he sold both of them. Joe took 1 call, he sold it right away. Like you could tell, like the people that understand this business really well, it's like, shoot, we need more of those guys like to get on so that we can make this happen and see the change happen right away because it's there. These people are calling about their Medicare. They know they're calling about their Medicare, and you just gotta walk them through it.
It sounds like
Maria,
a hot
did you have a question? Was that you, Maria?
Which Maria?
I heard you, I thought. I wasn't sure. No? Okay. I thought you said I have a question.
No, back to Sundays, because during AP I do work on Sundays. So are we gonna get more at least for the
I
morning,
can't
any back leads?
That's what I'm trying to say. We're spending money on a to market on a Sunday, and if it's just you, it's gonna be light. But if we know in advance that, hey, we've got X amount of people that are gonna be on, they're committed to these hours, we can then spend the money to market and then make sure that people are picking up. But it's gonna be really difficult unless we have more people, because marketing for one person to be on the phone for the day is an extremely expensive process. So we would need more people.
Understand.
So, but that's what the chat is for. I know yesterday morning you kind of said, hey, who's on with me? Who's working today? I know that on Thursday evening, you put out in the chat, hey, who's trick or treating and who wants to make some money? Right? Like, and we saw that change as well. So the more you get people on your team, the more you're going to be able to do better with this, to be able to get us more on Sundays.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we
I
got
have a
what,
question.
4 weeks left of AEP, roughly. You got 4 weeks left. If you are not ahead of your goals right now, you need a fire lit underneath your butt. I'm trying to be very politically correct here, but the thought of losing 300 calls a day of people calling us, can you imagine what you would have given in the past to be able to have people call you? Just think about that for a second. Think about all the times in your entire career that you sat there and made 200 or more phone calls a day. And your response is, I couldn't get anybody on the phone, or why won't people answer the phone? Just think about this for a second. Think about what you've done in your career to try to get people on the phone. And we are telling you, we will make your phone ring. There's one thing you have to do. Commit to work. Commit to say, I will get on the phone. Maria, that's awesome that you want to work Sunday. And if there's 12 or 15 people that are going to work Sunday, guess what? The whole volume is going to go up because we could order more activity to happen. But only if people are going to commit to work. There's 4 weeks left, guys. Come January, when you get your check and your check is only 10 grand instead of 50 or 60 grand, there is only one person to blame. You can't say there's not enough people to talk to. You can't say there's not enough product. There's one person to blame. You got 4 weeks left. Give your family a hell of a Christmas. Make enough money to last the next 6 months in the next 4 weeks. This is the opportunity. It's there for you. Go take it, grasp it, do it. Make this happen. Because later on, you're going to be sitting there saying, I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I should have done this. Just go to work. We'll give you people to talk to. Go to work. We got you covered there. Just go do it. I'm stepping off my soapbox.
Hey, listen, I love it. Keep going. Don't get off. Keep going.
300 leads a day. Are we nuts? Okay.
I have a question. For the, if we go green, are we going green on the dialer or can we do it from our phone? Where do the calls come in?
No, you have to be at your computer. You have to be
At the
available.
dialer.
And that's where the calls come. So the other thing I want to talk about is plan and roll. Some of you have had challenges with receiving calls and plan and roll. I'm aware of Jack and I'm aware of Christian. I'm not aware of anybody else that has spent time in being available, like clicking on I'm available in plan and roll and not receiving calls. I'm hoping that we're getting somewhere. I'm hoping that we're getting somewhere. We've been up to the top of the totem pole with this with plan and roll. I do not know what's going on, but if you can reach out to me because you have spent. I mean, it's pathetic how little people are on plan and roll. I'm available. Like the amount of calls that come through. We want to spend more money there. We want to go crazy there, but the amount of people that are actually clicking I'm available and staying in an I'm available status a day, it's like less than 30 minutes on average.
Is that a technical issue that's maybe someone doesn't understand or something like that?
No, it's literally go to Medicare Center, click on the button, I'm available. That's the extent of it. Like, if you want to share your screen here, no, it's not worth it. Yeah, go to Medicare Center, click on the top part, I'm available. And the amount of leads that we put through on plan and roll is so small. The 2 guys that have really crushed it on plan and roll, and actually James just told me, I heard through the grapevine that James is actually having an issue too, where the number was decreasing over the weekend as well. So the three people who have received the most leads in plan and roll, who have said I'm available the most, have seen a decline in the amount of calls coming through. And I don't know why. We're trying to work it out. We don't understand what's going on. Yeah, the calls will come in while you're on the dialer. That's the way it's working. There's 2 different options here to be able to push in leads, and we do not have them pushing over to the dialer. They only work separately. So you just have to be able to turn off I'm available.
Multitask.
And multitask a little bit. That was, yeah, that's the way it is. Like plan and roll is on one screen, Medicare Center, top right hand corner, you click I'm available. If somebody gets in touch with you on 5-9 through the dialer, you turn off I'm available and you continue to work the call on the 5-9 side. The other way, the person, if it has to go the other way, you turn off the green on the dialer and you click on, you stay on the Medicare Center side of it.
Yeah, so that's that with the leads. I do just want to clarify. Some of you are meeting and exceeding your goals. And that is awesome. And you should keep on doing what you're doing. If you are content with where you're at and you're content with your production, I wasn't talking to you a few minutes ago. It's those that are not happy about where they're at right now. That's who I was talking to a few minutes ago. I don't want to take someone who says, I had a goal of 100 applications and I'm at 150 already and say, you're not working hard enough, because I don't mean that at all. It's the 80% of you who are not content with where you're at right now. What else we got?
Let's see some production, because you just did mention this. Now, this is through Thursday. Okay, so Thursday, this is apps that we've placed into the system. It's behind. Okay, we know that. Like we said, we're actually paying people like crazy just to add apps in every single night. So we're behind, but this is only for apps that we have actually received and that we put into our system. This is what we have for AEP. These are the top 20 right now. So Greg with 38 in for AEP. We can clap for these guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Maria with 42 in, Colby with 42 in, Rebecca with 46, Andrew with 47, Dan Rodriguez with 40. This is weak clapping. I mean, I'd be embarrassed if it was me. But anyway, Dan Rodriguez with 50 claps. I mean, 50 apps. Dan Bassano with 53 apps. Noah with 57. Joe with 59. Jack Elias with 60. Heather with 60.
Great job.
Fred, we've got 60. Kimberly, we have 61. Jenna Sawyer with 62. Miguel with 75. Mickey Dodge with 83. Jesse's got 87 in. And now we have the Centennials with 133 apps, Mr. Cavallaro. And I did skip over, I am aware that Helena has over 100 as well. I think it's 110 as of Saturday morning is what she told me. I think something like that, right? Something like that as of Saturday morning. So we'll make sure we add her into the Centennial Club.
Were they not submitted?
She hasn't sent us over the apps yet.
Well, then we're
But
not.
we're working on it. We're working on it. Hey, if anybody else is over 100 and you haven't gotten them to us, let me know. I think it's worth a clap.
I'm a big believer in seeing them.
And Seth at the top, 141 apps in.
Great job.
Those are the ones that we've got so far. Numbers will change dramatically over the next week, just as more people add the apps in, but that's what we've got.
I mean, guys, these are awesome numbers. Keep up the good work. Kim Mitchell said she's over 100, and this has her at 61. Kim, I got a question for you, because I know this is relevant for everybody else. Are all 100 submitted to us?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, Kim, because if the answer is yes, they've been submitted to us, then we have another issue. You know, like Heather Dion, you said you're at 70 instead of 60, but you could have done 10 since Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, that makes sense. But someone being off by 40%, where we get a little nervous there on whether they were submitted to us or not. If they're not submitted to us, guys, it's impossible for us to give you any number other than what you submitted to us.
For the year, this is where we're staying. Something's wrong there.
We'll skip for the year right now. And just
I don't know what that number is.
Is that how many apps they're holding that they didn't submit?
Wait, go back. Yeah, that's not right. Is it? I guess it could be. Yeah, that. I don't know. Whatever. We'll get to those next week.
Let's
That
stick
seems
to
very
AEP.
high.
Let's stick to
Something
AEP.
seems off there.
It didn't look that far off, man. Didn't look that far off, but we'll go back and see. But the AEP numbers right now is what matter. But someone like Kim saying that she has 100, you know, you're talking about Helena. Obviously, there's another issue there that you know about with Helena. But I am curious, Heather, is it possible that, you know, 10 applications could have been submitted since Thursday?
Yeah, I was just looking. It's close to that. I mean, was Thursday included?
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
'cause
know, it could be
if that's
somewhere-
the case, then
somewhere-
it's off a few. That if I think I have since Thursday, I was just counting. It's 9, I think. So it's off.
Yeah, that makes.
That
total
makes sense. That makes total
Okay.
sense.
Yep.
It's ones that are, you know, almost double that I'm super worried about. You know, Kim Mitchell, are you there? She's probably sitting in a Walmart taking a nap right now as we speak.
Here. I'm here.
Is there any chance that, hi, Kim, is there any
Hi.
chance that, that you didn't submit those other, when you say you're over 100, is there any chance that there's 40 apps that haven't been submitted to us yet?
No, everything I submit right away. Some of that could be Tufts business too. Because I've been writing a lot of Tufts. So no, I'm there. I mean, I worked all weekend and put up some serious numbers. So I mean, I can go back through and check all my apps, but I'm pretty sure
We
they're all
may-
in there.
You may get a phone call from someone in our office to see if we could figure out that discrepancy, because it's a big discrepancy. You're talking about almost double where you're at
Yep.
right now. And
Yep.
those type of things, if that tells us something, that might tell us something about somebody else too. So
Yep.
it's, you know. All right, guys, we realize we went a little over time. Remember something, change is not a bad thing. Sometimes it's a kick in the butt. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt. It is what it is. Do not let the carriers control the successes that we are having right now. Everybody is having success. Keep it going. Sometimes you just need to turn and change a little bit. And that's what's happened here today. Everyone, have a fantastic day, a fantastic week. We look forward to speaking to you on Wednesday morning on the call. Go kick some ass out there. Have a great day, everybody.
Take
Have a
care,
great
everybody.
week, guys.
Have a great day, everyone.